Hi, how you doing? My name is Stephen Lavasser, and this is WGN. We got next. This is my podcast, as you may call it. This is my first podcast. Trying this out, see how it goes, and give my opinions. I want feedback. I want all that, everything, just to understand and get more acquainted. But this is my first podcast, and we're going to be talking about sports. We're going to talk about betting. We're going to talk about over under spreads, everything in the book that you would imagine that no more sports would include. I like feedback. I want to hear people's opinions. I want to hear everything. So let's get started. First on the menu is the Lakers versus the Heat. Tonight, the over under is 218.5. The spread is 7.5 in favor of the Lakers. Now, mind you, the Miami Heat did win the last game, and the spread was inflated, as I would call it, but it was at 9.5 from the beginning. And down the line, some people, they want to wait to see how it is before game time because Vegas likes to either up the ante or decrease it, as we might say. So in some places it was 10.5, which I think was too high anyway. I mean, even at 9.5, it was kind of more of a stay away because of the simple fact is, I mean, that first game, yeah, it was a blowout, as much people would say. Miami didn't come out there very strong at all, and it looked very dominated by the Lakers. But always remember that one thing about it is when it comes to betting, sometimes when a team gets outperformed, they will come back and try harder, or they will put in more of an effort. And most of the time, they do cover the spread, and they ended up covering the spread. So I mean, mind you, if you had picked that game, I mean, I picked the first game with the Lakers. I think the spread was 4.5, which was a give me. Anything like that is a give me. I'm not even going money line. I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna take that automatically. So I took the 4.5 with the Lakers, and came off good. And the second spread was the second game. The second game, I think, was about 7.5, and that was a good spread. And then the last game was 9.5, and it got up to 10.5 in some places, which, mind you, is kind of a lot because you're dealing with a team that actually made it to the finals. And honestly, I had the Boston Celtics, to go to the finals. Things happened. Boston did not play a very good series. I thought they should have had them in a couple of games that they lost, but that's here and there. So mind you, the spread is at 7.5. I am honestly leaning towards the Lakers on the 7.5, just because of the simple fact is the Lakers didn't play that well. Now, I mean, everybody was watching the game kind of would I say the same thing, but I mean, some people are different. Everybody has their own opinions, so everybody's gonna, you know, come up with their own conclusions. I just think up front with you, the Lakers did not play well. Anthony Davis was in foul trouble most of the game. And if you even really was watching the game, the Lakers had a chance to come and to at least give it a more of a contest. And I just think there was defense was looking horrible. And they lost. So, you know, things happen. I mean, if you was a better and you had to pick the Miami Heat with the 10.5 that was given, which was outrageous. I was like, wow, 10.5 is a lot. But they gave the 10.5. You came off good because Vegas, sometimes I don't understand how they make their number systems up, but 10.5 is a lot. That's way too much. Lakers is not known for really killing teams like that well. I mean, even they don't even have any shooters like that that would give them. that kind of a point spread margin, but Miami did just come out hot. Jimmy Butler, listen, Jimmy Butler has been playing like this for the last couple of years. I don't know where you guys been if you haven't been watching. Jimmy Butler was doing this with the Timberwolves, was doing this with the 76ers, was doing this with the Bulls. He was, man, and Rondo, I know he don't like the name playoff Rondo, but man, when the playoffs come, Rondo always playing out. And Rondo's always been playing out like that. I mean, I liked Rondo ever since he was with the Celtics, man. They had a big four to me. I don't know. Everybody might think different. They say big three, but I think they had a big four because I liked Rondo. I liked him with the whole Celtics situation. It was just a grinded out team that took the title, and I like that. So I try not to be a fan of teams. I don't really have a team in particular. I'm more of a player fan. Like I have players that I like. I have players that I like to watch. I have teams I watch any game, anytime, anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Two bum teams, two good teams, two mediocre teams, whatever the situation is, I watch. And now for the Miami Heat to get to the finals, it's like, wow. Even though after the whole bubble situation, it's like still wow. Like you had never I never really probably thought about that. But mind you, things do happen. This is sports here, and things happen. People lose. It's all about the game and the situation at hand. Now, mind you, they're giving them 7.5. Anthony Davis was injured was not well. Let me not. Pardon me, not injured. Was in foul trouble most of the time, and really spent most of the time on the bench. Dropped about 15 points. The spread almost, now mind you, almost went over 219.5. It actually landed at 219. And I was like, wow. If you took the over, I feel bad just to lose for a half. If you took the under, I know you're happy, but I know you were sweating in the end because 219 and 219.5 is just basically right there. And now Miami played a very, very good game. Very good game. The last two games, the last 3 games, the under hit twice, the over hit once. I can kind of see an over situation going on tonight because it's 218.5. So I can kind of see the over coming in and playing a part because I don't think Anthony Davis is going to be in foul trouble all game long like it was tonight, like it was last situation. And LeBron James is going to come out. Even though he's come out every game in this whole thing, he's going to come out. There's no way they're going to let Miami even come close enough that they're going to put them in a situation where they're going to take basically the best chance that the Lakers have of winning the title this year, because next year is going to be stacked. I don't know about some people, but I like what next year is going to bring. I like to see what the next situation is going to be bringing the NBA. Man, you got the Warriors. Warriors is going to watch out for the Warriors. Watch out for the Warriors. I try to tell people that, man. Watch out for the Warriors because the Warriors are gonna ball. If they are healthy, they are gonna ball. And man, you got PG-13 and Kawhi Leonard, which they gave up that series. It sucked, but they gave up that series. They was not playing motivated. And I don't like Graham Harrell in certain positions. Lou is still the man coming off the bench, and I mean he can start with any team in the league, I believe. But he coming off the bench is a great asset. But they're just missing something, man. I don't know. Now, they got rumors going around that Serge Ibaka might be going to them, or Serge Ibaka might be going to Brooklyn. Shoot, Serge is gonna try to get a ring. He's very got the money, It's not even fathom that he's not going to get anything else. So tonight, like I said, I like the 7.5 with the Lakers. I like them to cover it. I think, basically from the last game, from the last situation, and Anthony Davis being in foul trouble, the Lakers not playing the best performance. Defensive wise, they was not playing the best performance. Man, Jimmy Butler gonna ball every game in the series. I mean, you're not gonna get nothing else from that. He's gonna ball every game of the series. He's gonna put out maximum effort every game of the series, and it's gonna be the same situation in the end of the day. So, can he carry the Heats to the championship? He carried them to the finals, yes, but can he carry them to win that title? I don't doubt it, but I doubt it. It's just too very difficult for me to see the Miami Heat's taking the title away from LeBron James and the Lakers with a stout team like that, with Anthony Davis probably playing out his mind. Even when he was with the Pelicans, he was playing out his mind. And even when they beat the Trailblazers, which I told people about that, but some people don't listen. But they beat the Trailblazers, and I was telling people, I said, AD, Vondo, Holiday, that whole lineup was just better than the Trailblazers. Trailblazers is small, which is not a bad thing, which is not in the NBA days, but you got two small players. And I like the addition of Melo. Melo played better this year, but he's skinny Melo, not big Melo no more. So he's skinny Melo, but he played very well this year. And I mean, they tried, but I don't know, man. They was not gonna get past the Lakers. The Lakers was just a little bit better than them. Plus, like I said, the point guard position, the shooting guard position is dominated by two smaller players, and I don't know. Nowadays, it's just very difficult for a smaller team to. Even though we do play, they're playing more small ball nowadays in the NBA. It's just very difficult. I can't really see the Trailblazers making much of an impact. Even next year, maybe next year they can probably. I don't know. I don't really see them making much of an impact. They got to make another move, but they didn't have a lot of their key players. So let's see what happens next year. Because I think Ronnie Hood was out. I didn't see him during the playoffs or in the bubble situation, and I think Trevor Ariza is another player that they have, but I think so too. So to have Trevor Ariza not playing, which is which is basically their defensive position player, kind of hurt them. So, but I said next year is gonna be a good year for the NBA. It's gonna, and I can't wait. That's when you try it. That's when you go in for it, man. Especially if you are better, the NBA next year it's gonna have so many good scenarios that you're gonna have to watch for. Like I said, it's just playing a sport like that is very different, and you try. So, but to continue on, like I said, I'm going with the 7.5. 218.5. I think I'll go with the over. I just didn't the way they played last game. The way that they played last game, the Lakers and the Anthony Davis being in foul trouble. I'm kind of leaning towards the over. Let's see what happens. But I'm gonna lean towards the over. I'm gonna take the 7.5 with the Lakers for the spread, and let's go from there. In other notes, the Patriots played last night. I'm a Patriots fan, mind you. I don't use my fandom when it comes to betting because you gotta be realistic. But 11.5. 11 and no, it was not even 11.5. It was 11. 11 points. They beat them by 16. Everybody's gonna. It was. I don't understand the situation with the COVID situation with Cam Newton. I'm like, you held him out. I expected that was gonna be a loss, especially man. The spread was, I think, it was 6.5, and it jumped to 11. That's a big jump from Cam Newton not playing to that big of a jump. And our defense played excellent. Our defense played good. So, but mind you, I mean, it's Pat Mahomes, man. Pat Mahomes is a monster. It's a monster, man. It's just like a front with you is a monster, man. And they got that. They got that because I was like, I kind of was just like, I kind of thought it was gonna be it was gonna be a low scoring game, mind you, especially after as soon as they took Cam Newton out. I swear I could have sworn the over under was a lot higher than that. But I think after they took Cam Newton out, the spread the over under went to 48 and 48, 48, 40 or 48 and a half, somewhere around that margin. And as soon as Cam Newton was taken out of the game, well, was taken out and didn't even get a chance to play the game, it was like, wow. Basically, we just got to survive with the defense. In fantasy football or however, whatever league you're playing or whatever margin you're doing, DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever the situation that you're doing, I did not start the Patriots defense. I was, Pat Mahomes is scary and he's going to put up some points. You're not going to hold him that far down. Now, mind you, the first half, that was defense. Missed good defense in the NFL. With all these air raids and all these passes and all these ridiculous scores and everybody scoring touchdowns, it kind of just it hurts the game because you need defense, man. I like to see an interception like they showed yesterday. I like to see an interception, man, back for a touchdown. I like to see that. I like to see good big hits. I like to see certain things. Like, okay, you don't want no helmet to helmet. You don't want no. Mind you, I'm all for that. Safety, I'm all for. But people are gonna get injured. It's football. I remember when I tried to play football, I told myself, I'm good. I'm going back to basketball. I'm not dealing with this. I don't have no time to deal with this. So, with that being said, it was a good game, man. Pat Mahomes, he put out a good game, but man, Stedham and Brian Hoyer, awful. Even though Stedham threw a touchdown to N'Keal Henry, even though he threw a touchdown, it was still a horrible performance. It was still a bad performance. There was no offense for the Patriots, and it was just scary, man. It was just horrible. It was like, wow. Like, I could not believe to myself that this was what I was watching because I'm like I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm like, I kind of was rooting for them. If I was betting, I would have never took the Patriots with the spread. I kind of would just go with a stay away, and maybe the over under was probably a better bet to most people, but it was still to the point that it was just like, wow, for that to happen and for that situation to be the situation, for Sterling to throw an interception, which, mind you, it was not his fault because Edelman, it hit him clearly in the gloves, and it just ended up the honey badger grabbed that and boom, took it to the house. For that to happen was like, wow. So after that, as soon as that happened, I was just like, but the other interception, Stedham threw it way over the intended wide receiver. That was a horrible pass, intercepted. The Chiefs defense, very good defense. Been playing very good lately. Last couple of games, it's been shootouts, but they play very good defense. But mind you, they didn't have much to work with the Patriots offense this game. So I give them a good amount of credit. But they played good, man. And I mean, it was the under hit. If you had the under hit, and the under was about 36. They scored the 36, so basically a 12 and a half point difference from the actual over under spread, which was 48 and a half, which was I think converted because I got someone was higher than that. But the Chiefs covered the 11. I think if Cam played, I don't think they would have covered it, but the Chiefs covered the 11 and the under hit for 36 points. So combined together, it was 36 points and the under. Now, the next game on the list is them Packers. The Packers is looking good. The Packers is looking real good. Now, Atlanta, Quinn's getting fired. Quinn's getting fired is gonna happen eventually. I think it's gonna happen during the season, but it might not happen during the season. But I think eventually it's gonna happen, man. It's like, yo, especially with that situation with the Cowboys. Then in the Super Bowl, you guys gave up a big lead and threw that whole game away. And it's under his watch, so it's like, man, somebody's gotta go down for this. Now, Calvin really was been balling, and Matt Ryan, like, don't you see him? Don't you like honestly see him? He's wide open right there. Like, don't you see him? I don't even think he had a catch. I think he had one catch, maybe, or maybe he didn't. I don't know. It was just like, man, Ryan played horrible. They had some receivers that came up and they did their thing. Now, mind you, I give it to the people that's going to tell me that the Falcons are injured. Yes, everybody's injured. This is football. Everybody's going to get injured. Things are going to happen, and you can't do nothing about it. And I mean, but regardless of that, you still got to come out and play. But to get away from the Falcons, and the spread was 5. The spread was 5. I would have took the Packers anyway, but I don't really do too much football. But I would have took the Packers anyway because, listen, the Packers, man, are a good team. On offense, they're a good team. Defense, they're a little shaky, but I give them just like the Seahawks. The Seahawks on offense, they are very explosive. On defense, oh my God, they give up the world. They give up everything, man. A baby can run through the end zone on their defense. But on offense, they coming out and they throwing the ball and they blasting and they shooting and they going left to right and they doing everything. And that's what's gonna happen. But the Packers is just better than them that game. Even if you took the Packers money line, which would have still made sense anyway, because it's either you're gonna take the 5 or you're gonna take the money line. And I mean, if you want, taking the 5 ain't no different than taking the money line because the Packers was going to win anyway. I didn't think the Falcons was going to come out and generate that much difference between the Packers and the Falcons, and the Packers was not going to be no different because the Packers with the 5 was a great bet. It was an easy bet, actually. In all honesty, it was probably more of an easy bet because they are gonna come out and they're gonna perform. Now, mind you, when I was looking back at some of their old games, that over under 56.5 was the over under. The over under 66.5, man, that was more of an under. Even in the past games, they never hit 57. Even though their previous games, the last 3 games, they've been, explosive offenses, boom, 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 shooting here, there, pow, pow, everybody getting the ball, touchdowns galore, everything going on. I just could not see them winning the game against the Packers. I couldn't see them beating the Packers. The 5 was actually a give me. Maybe if the spread was a little higher, it probably would have been more of a kind of a shaky situation. But to have the Packers at 5 was kind of a gimme. The over under at 56.5. I mean, I was one of the fools that thought it was gonna be a shootout, boom, boom, boom. Not realizing that, man, like this is Atlanta here, and their offense comes in, comes out. I thought they would have made a better effort to get really the ball a lot more, but they didn't. So things happen, and teams lose. Things happen, teams lose, and that's what's gonna happen nowadays, especially with the Falcons and the next game and the continuous struggle now. Devontae Adams did not play this game. Devontae Adams did not play this game, and they still put out a performance like that, which shows you that Aaron Rodgers is dominant. I mean, if you didn't think that before, then you crazy. But Aaron Rodgers is dominant. Aaron Jones is dominant. And what's funny is they both had the same name. And I think he said that they both share the same birthday, which is kind of crazy. Like they both share the same birthday. But Aaron Rodgers is very dominant. And like for them to draft Love, listen, you want to get rid of Rodgers? Send him over to the Patriots. We got room for him. We'll trade you Cam Newton right now. I know I would, but I like Cam. But I'll still trade. But you can't tell me you're not gonna take Rodgers. So I will trade you Rodgers right now. And a bunch of teams will trade you Rodgers right now if you think you're gonna start Love over Rodgers. All you people are insane. And they drafted A.J. Dillon, which didn't really get much of a performance out of him. You was really seeing more of Jones and Williams. Williams balled out. I mean, if you picked him up on your fantasy lineup, he gave you about 18.5 points. Jones been balling ever since, man. I mean, I've been on Jones, for the last 2-3 seasons. I've been on Jones. I remember when I first found out Jones was going to start, and I had to YouTube his college highlights to see what kind of player he was. And then when I seen that he could pass and he could run, because I was like, okay, he could run. He's good. He's doing his thing here and there. And then I was like, wow, he could catch. So Aaron Rodgers, he likes that. Man, hasn't given up the position since. So, Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, man, I can't even lie to you. I would like to see them versus the Seahawks. I kind of would leaning on the Green Bay Packers, but knowing where the spread is going to be, either who's going to be favored or who's going to be the underdog, might tell you a lot. A lot of the situations going on, especially with the whole COVID-19 situation, and places getting shut down, people not being able to go here, people not going there. You really never know how long. I think that, these billionaires in the football league, they don't care. They're gonna put out the whole situation. They're gonna put out everything that they need to do, and they're gonna get all their money. That's point blank period. And it's gonna the season's gonna happen regardless or not. I like what I've been seeing with Tom Brady. Man, Justin Herbert is putting a lot of pressure on Miami to start Tua, because I don't even understand how you draft a player and you don't even start him. But they put in a lot of situations to show that they need to start. They need to start Tua, or to see what they have with Tua, because you know what you're gonna get with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you know what's gonna happen in the end. But this is my podcast. This is the first podcast of WGN. We Got Nexr, and this is part of the We Here TV. So support, follow, listen, don't like, whatever the situation is. It's still, in the end of the day, always going to be another episode. And for the people that actually appreciate it, I appreciate you, man. It's hard nowadays. You just gotta figure out something to do. I'm having fun with it. I'm trying to see what else I can do. Be in the house, might as well make a podcast. So for the people that's listening and actually like it, give a thumbs up, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Share, tell your people, put comments, put likes, put dislikes. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you don't think. Tell me what you want to hear. And hopefully, eventually, I can start bringing on people into this thing and start getting live feedbacks and start getting, everybody integrated and start speaking and hearing opinions and just to get everything just to get more in general of better topics and more, a flow. My name is Steven. Some maybe know me as Shine, but whatever the situation is, my name is Steven Lavasser, and we are out. And we'll catch you on the next episode, the next time, which probably is gonna be like tomorrow or something. But we'll catch you on the next episode of We Got Nexr, WGN, and you have a good day. Thank you.